Tonight's top story, travelers are sharing their experiences after a plane veered off the runway Saturday night at Des Moines International Airport. As Local 5's Emma Stroner reports, the incident also forced an airport shutdown and flight disruptions.
A Delta plane coming from Detroit into Des Moines sliding off the runway onto the pavement Saturday night from icy conditions, according to airport officials. 2 pilots, 2 flight attendants, and 54 passengers, all without injuries.
Just going down the landing strip, that's when the pilot hit a little bit of ice. And we just kept sliding.
Passenger Teresa Rose tells Local 5 her and other flyers didn't get off the plane until over an hour after the plane slid.
Once we found out that's what was going to happen, we landed at about 9:45 p.m. and we did not exit the plane until about 11 o'clock p.m. at night.
Rose says passengers were unaware at first of what had happened, but once they were told, buses came to pick them up. From there, she says driving home in the storm was scarier than the plane veering off. Sean Morgan was another flyer on the plane who says now he can't get his checked bag.
I have no idea when our bags will get delivered to us.
He says he was told the bags had to stay in place while the National Transportation Safety Board starts an investigation. Just about 24 hours after that plane slid off the runway, passengers and flyers are sharing their experiences with us now, and some are even saying this is causing ripple effects, delaying their flights or canceling them altogether. Charisse Creighton says her son's flight is in limbo now, telling Local 5 she's debating on having him wait another day before flying into Chicago.
8 a.m. to 2, and then it was 2 to 2:18, 2:18 to 2:30, and so now we don't know.
Another set of parents say their daughter's flight from Chicago has been delayed 3 times, and they tell us landing concerns were communicated to them. In Des Moines, Emma Stroner, Local 5 News.
Per the last update from airport officials, the National Transportation Safety Board will not be investigating and the plane won't be removed until their process is complete. The Federal Aviation Administration also reports that they will be investigating. We reached out to the airport for additional updates and have not yet heard back.
The city of Des Moines is bringing back its small business impact loan program designed to help local entrepreneurs grow. Local 5's JD Snover is downtown with more on how it works and how the loan helped one business find its permanent home.
The owners of the Rook Room in downtown Des Moines say this program played a key role in opening their permanent location on Southwest 5th Street.
We aren't based on another business. We don't have a very clear category we fall into.
When Annalise Tarnowski and her business partner launched their board game safe space, it started as a roaming pop-up. But when it came time to settle down, traditional lenders weren't necessarily on board.
We were a coffee shop, a restaurant, a bar, a community event space, a small store, all sorts of things. And banks and other large lending institutions want to put people squarely into one box, but creative ideas are never like that.
That's where the city's Small Business Impact Loan program comes in. On the list of requirements, businesses must show they've been denied elsewhere before applying. In a statement to Local 5, Mayor Connie Boesen says the program is an investment in creativity, writing in part, quote, "The city is reinforcing its belief in the creativity, determination, and resilience of our small business community. When we invest in local entrepreneurs, we invest in the neighborhoods and corridors that define Des Moines' character." The program offers more than money, and it includes one-on-one support to help owners get started. Tarnowski says that made all the difference.
So knowing that we had both of the support from the city just in general and then also financially, this money helped us to get open. It helped us to hire great people right away, not have to worry about our first few payrolls, making sure that our rent's going to get paid and that we have the opportunity to actually try this thing that we've been planning for 6 years.
After its first run last year, the program is now available on a rolling basis, meaning businesses can apply whenever they're ready. In Des Moines, I'm JD Snover, Local 5 News.
With the second round of snow today, Des Moines plow drivers are putting in extra work to keep the streets safe. Local 5's Alex Fulton is live in Des Moines in our storm tracker right now. Alex, this is usually a busy drive time, so how are the roads looking right now?
Stephanie, I'm in the Waterbury neighborhood on 56th Street, and I want to show you what I'm seeing right now. We're just kind of turning onto a side street right now, and you can definitely tell that these streets have some little patches of snow that you want to watch out for. Those kind of main streets are a lot better. The city of Des Moines had 200 plow drivers that were working 12-hour shifts at all hours of the day and night. I want to show you some footage I took on Ingersoll around 1 this afternoon. You can see not too much snow on the road there. The plow drivers have been busy working on 2,200 miles of roadways throughout the weekend. Crews started on the major city streets and then moved on to the residential ones. They finished those neighborhood streets around lunchtime today and are now going back to fix anything they might have missed.
This was a little different kind of a weather experience, mostly dictated by the initial conditions and that sticking of the ice. We were unable to do anti-icing in advance of the storm because of some of the forecasts called for rain first.
The city of Des Moines has seen over 50 crashes over the last couple of days, according to Des Moines Public Works. Drivers are advised to go to dmsnow.org for the latest updates on road conditions. Reporting live in Des Moines, Alex Fulton, Local 5 News.
Most of us having been getting our coats, gloves, and hats as temperatures drop and the snow piles up, but for some, this could be a challenge. Local 5's Emma Stroner joins us now. And Emma, you have been speaking with organizations that donate clothing this evening.
I have, and they tell me once all the low temperatures and snow start to come in, that stocking up on those things like you mentioned, like coats and gloves, become really essential. The Des Moines Catholic Worker and St. Vincent de Paul say this year has brought in some extra hurdles. This weekend, lots of snow and cold temperatures hit the metro. Marking the unofficial start to winter, Friday's snowstorm has brought more challenges than just the hours of shoveling.
This is quite crowded in the winter.
With temperatures below freezing, Des Moines' most vulnerable populations are now
desperate because it's very cold.
The cold air is bringing people in to grab warm clothes from places like this one, the Des Moines Catholic Worker Bishop Dingman House.
On a day like this, and we have people coming in, the first thing they come in is look for something warm.
Co-founder Frank Cordero tells Local 5 blankets are currently the hardest to come by.
You can see we're low on blankets all the time. We might give out 50 in a given day.
He knows the need for winter items is always apparent during cold days, but this weekend he actually noticed less people stopping in.
It's so cold, if we were open, like half the people would show up. Most people don't have transportation in the storm, so it's pretty brutal out there.
While the Catholic Worker House struggles to stock enough blankets, St. Vincent de Paul worries about all of their winter gear.
We never can get enough coats, stocking caps, scarves, warm socks.
CEO Steve Halfman says he's especially concerned about children.
It's the number of kids this year that's really catching me off guard, that are in there looking for snow boots with their parents and winter coats, and little kids coming in t-shirts and shorts. I just think we're in for a tough winter.
Aside from the recent surge of winter weather, Halfman emphasizes the lasting impacts of the government shutdown, making this year different from any other.
I think there's more folks than ever balancing, do I buy boots for my kids, pay food, pay for the heat bill?
Cordero and Halfman say during the season to really take a look in your closet and consider donating any winter items you no longer use, as it could help keep someone warm. Stephanie?
Well, the city of Pleasant Hill is weighing whether to reinstate DART paratransit services. City officials have until January 28th, the next DART Commission meeting, to make up their mind. Local 5's Alex Fulton explains what it would mean for residents.
Here in Pleasant Hill, DART services will no longer be offered starting in June. DART now has a proposal for Pleasant Hill, so some services won't stop.
I think it's a given that paratransit has to stay.
Johnette Figgis lives in Pleasant Hill and can't drive due to her medical conditions.
It's $30 to take a taxi from Pleasant Hill to Des Moines. It's about $45 to get to West Des Moines.
DART's paratransit takes her to and from physical therapy appointments in Ankeny at an affordable price.
There's at least 4 or 5 people I've assisted on paratransit. because there is a need.
With service set to end in Pleasant Hill, DART is offering the city 3 options. Become a DART member again, continue with plans to withdraw services altogether, or provide only paratransit services.
If they want to do the paratransit only option, that would take effect on July 1st, that their residents would be eligible for that.
Normally, cities wouldn't be allowed to offer only paratransit. Last month, the DART Commission voted to make an exception for Bondurant and Pleasant Hill.
One of the things we have heard when some of our smaller outskirt communities have withdrawn from DART is that they've wanted access to the paratransit service.
DART will be doing a 3-year study to look at factors like who's eligible for paratransit and the price per trip under this new option for cities.
It's a pilot, it's a study, we are trying it out, we'll work out the kinks, and then the commission and those communities can decide if they want to do it long term.
For Figgis, if paratransit is kept cut, she will miss physical therapy.
It's unfortunate because I think a lot of people just don't even know, period, that this is going on.
The city of Bondurant announced it plans to withdraw from DART services. Typically, it takes 18 months for changes to take effect. In Pleasant Hill, Alex Fulton, Local 5 News.
The paratransit only option is estimated to cost Pleasant Hill somewhere between $110,000 and $127,000 annually. That's over $350,000 cheaper than what the city pays now. Dozens of people's belongings are displaced after a mold outbreak at an Ames storage facility. Local 5's JD Snover shows us why tenants say they were left scrambling.
Just 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, Melissa Martin wasn't expecting to spend her holiday here at this Ames storage facility, but that all changed with just one email.
Definitely a lack of trust.
Martin says because of this mold, she had to throw out prized possessions, including a painting she made with family and friends. It could have been saved, but she didn't have the time or resources after spending days relocating her belongings during last weekend's storm.
Of course, nobody wants to move on Thanksgiving. I did because I had to.
Tenants were given 15 days notice to clear out first floor units, according to the email sent to them and obtained by Local 5. But she says tenants told management in June there was mold. Martin says the short timeline led to more losses than what she says was necessary.
A lot of things got broken, like what they wanted to salvage, because it was done so hastily.
She's not alone. The entire first floor now sits empty.
Everything we owned.
Valerie Dilivo says she's been recovering from a stroke and staying with a friend in Omaha, making the move for her nearly impossible.
My ability to lift and move stuff is very limited because I can't lift stuff with my right arm very well. It was not a very good situation.
Martin says she hopes speaking out will prevent this from happening again.
I care more about doing right by fellow community members. There needs to be transparency.
Local 5 reached out to the management group with the storage facility, but they declined to comment on the record. In Ames, I'm JD Snover, Local 5 News.
Alumni, staff, and students are making a documentary to try and prevent Walnut Creek campus from closing. District leaders are recommending that it close starting next school year due to higher absenteeism rates compared to other schools. Local 5's Alex Fulton has some of the stories filmmakers want the community to know about.
Walnut Creek campus is an alternative high school within the West Des Moines School District. It's been a lifeline for students, helping them graduate when they otherwise wouldn't.
I didn't learn the same way other kids learn.
Jake Burriola is working on a documentary featuring success stories from Walnut Creek campus.
When you walk through those doors, it feels like acceptance. And it allows these kids the opportunity to be vulnerable.
Burriola started going there after he was suspended and kicked out of Valley Southwoods High School.
And you have teachers that show up at your doorstep knocking. Hey, come on, let's go to school. You know, these teachers care so much. They get you.
Last week, the West Des Moines Schools Superintendent's Cabinet introduced a proposal to close Walnut Creek. Instead of having a designated campus, the district would create a new program offering support.
There's so many benefits to what I received from there. When you think about it, teaching me to actually follow through with what you start.
Just like Burriola, Nick Lombardi graduated from Walnut Creek.
I showed up as a senior with the credits of a freshman. I mean, a lot of times they may look at you and say, hey, you may just want to go get your GED at this point, and they didn't do that.
Both alumni never thought they would reach that major milestone, but they say they did it because someone believed in them.
And if anybody has spent any time at Walnut Creek, they would understand exactly what goes into a typical day, and the sacrifices that those teachers are making.
The goal of the documentary is to get the school board to reject the proposal to close Walnut Creek.
I just don't think they understand the impact this would have if that stopped, and I do. I know where I'd be if I didn't have it.
In West Des Moines, Alex Fulton, Local 5 News.
The West Des Moines School Board is set to vote on the proposal at its January 12th meeting. The district said in a statement, quote, "By recommending a move to a comprehensive alternative education program, we aim to prioritize preventative pre-K through 12 interventions, individualized learning plans, and robust social emotional support structures that can better meet the diverse needs of our student population in a resource-constrained environment." Two gymnasts who say they were sexually abused by a coach at a West Des Moines academy are now filing civil lawsuits. Local 5's JD Snover's in studio with us with more on why the attorney defending the two athletes says they decided to sue.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Stephanie. The lawsuits target not only Child's Gymnastics, but also USA Gymnastics and the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, accusing them of failing to protect young athletes. A warning for viewers, this story may include some sensitive content.
What would you pay to not have your children molested?
John Manley is a California attorney who's represented dozens of athletes in sexual abuse cases since 2016. Now he's representing two Iowans who allege they were abused between 2018 and 2021 at Child's Gymnastics in West Des Moines.
If you're a little girl and somebody violates you as an adult man in the most vile way possible, it has a profound effect on your life. And when an adult who's in charge of you, whose parents are paying for, your camp and your gymnastic experience, neglects to protect that child, there has to be accountability.
Local 5 typically does not name victims in cases like this unless they come forward publicly. Finley Weldon and Haley Gear claim they were placed in a, quote, military-like environment that discouraged minor gymnasts and their parents from questioning authority or reporting improper or abusive conduct. The lawsuits allege the abuse could have been prevented if SafeSport acted on reports of misconduct against Coach Sean Gardner at a Mississippi gym in 2017. SafeSport disputes that timeline, arguing in a statement to Local 5, quote, "We are grateful to those who come forward with their stories, which allows us to take action to hold individuals accountable. Upon receiving the first report of sexual misconduct against Mr. Gardner in 2022, the center imposed temporary restrictions, followed shortly by a temporary suspension, which removed him from coaching and was published on our public database." SafeSport also claims Chow's knew about the alleged misconduct but did not file an official report with them until that initial report in 2022. So the attorney Manley tells me while this lawsuit may result in demanding monetary damages be paid, nothing can actually erase the memories that are in his client's mind. Garner is currently facing criminal charges in Mississippi but has not officially been charged here in Iowa. However, West Des Moines police confirmed to Local 5 this investigation into him is still open and active here. Local 5 has also reached out to Chow's Gym for a response to claims against them but has not yet heard back. Stephanie.
Well, the frigid temps means Central Iowa Shelter and Services is open for those who cannot escape the cold. Weather Amnesty allows the homeless shelter to provide a place to sleep for more people in need. Local 5's Alex Fulton is in studio. Alex, at one point, the future of Weather Amnesty was really up in the air.
That's exactly right, Stephanie. Central Iowa Shelter and Services announced back in March that Weather Amnesty would be ending. The organization has since entered a new agreement with the Polk County Board of Supervisors to provide these services.
We're entrusted in our community to serve the most vulnerable.
Whenever the Polk County Temperature Plan is activated, libraries and other facilities open as warming centers.
You have individuals that have been unsheltered, that have been on the riverbanks all summer long, and has now hit that overnight colder temp.
But Melissa O'Neill and Central Iowa Shelter and Services have a bed when those centers close for the day through Weather Amnesty.
It just means that while somebody may have otherwise been denied for some reason, we're going to open those doors back up and say, okay, come on in. We're going to try this again.
The temperature plan allows the homeless shelter to house 275 people on cots and chairs, which is more than normal. The county foots the bill, paying roughly $68 per person a day.
That includes, again, not just the overnight stay, but includes all the day services that are offered, includes the case management that's needed, along with, again, those extra expenses like food and hygiene.
This was the homeless shelter's first winter weather event under the new contract with Polk County.
And the high so far for this week has been around 203. We did escalate up a little bit last night, but at the end of the night, the census was actually 199, so it actually dropped.
The agreement lets Central Iowa Shelter and Services welcome extra people 45 days a year.
Some winters are a little bit more mild, some are a little bit more extreme, and I think if anything right now, that's what we're concerned about, is this triggered really early.
It's a mission of this shelter to serve everyone who otherwise would be out in the cold.
There are wonderful human beings who have had a bad day and maybe a series of events that have led to a point where they've had to utilize our services. And so I think we're called to do it.
The Central Iowa Shelter and Services CEO says her staff are always ready to handle more people overnight. She adds that some of those staying there have even been helping each other out. Stephanie.
Local health professionals are anticipating an increase in viral illnesses. Local 5's JD Snover took a look at where state data says things stand and why officials say it's only the beginning.
The most recent state data shows that just under 25% of Iowans have gotten their flu shot so far this year, something medical professionals call the best line of defense as we continue through the holiday season.
We're seeing a bunch of your run-of-the-mill colds, coughs sort of thing.
Unity Point ARNP Janae Brown says so far the so-called sixth season has been mild. State data backs that up. All 3 respiratory illnesses the state tracks are classified as very low right now. But Brown expects that to change in the near future.
I imagine going a week or two out of Thanksgiving and then after Christmas, we're going to see a whole lot more just because of the gatherings.
And that's why health officials say now is the time to think about acting if you're choosing to, before those holiday get-togethers turn into a spike in cases.
People die every year from the flu, unfortunately, and a lot of those deaths are preventable when people are getting immunized.
So far, just over 770,000 Iowans, or about 24% of the state's population, have gotten a flu shot. Polk County is slightly ahead of the state average when it comes to percentages.
A lot of people do shrug off the flu, but it can be really serious, especially for our vulnerable populations like older adults and children.
The CDC officially reports the peak season is from December to February. In Des Moines, I'm JD Snover, Local 5 News.